All right, welcome back from the break. If you're on the podcast, if you're in the video on YouTube,
Yeah.
welcome. This is the segment 3, episode 1 of my ramblings, and I'm James, and this is
Josh.
That was so, you know.
Don't go there.
I almost went there. So Josh and I have been watching this YouTube channel for about a year, right?
Yeah, a little over a year.
A little over a year. It's Mindseed TV, and we've really enjoyed it.
Oh,
actually.
yeah. It's what gives us something to do in off time.
Yeah, definitely. And it literally, they just finished their second season, which I thought, I mean, I don't really get the whole idea of seasons, right?
Neither do I.
But basically, I think they went on hiatus because of COVID.
Which kind of put a damper
Yeah.
on us because we had nothing else to watch.
Right. But then they came out with a 2-hour movie.
Phenomenal.
Their first movie that they've ever done. And it's not really part of season 2, I guess, but it's kind of like in between 2 and 3.
Yeah.
And so we decided we would do a quick overview of it.
Mm-hmm.
Warning, there are spoilers.
Yeah.
Right? So be prepared to be spoiled. But again, it's Mindseed TV on YouTube channel. The name of the 2-hour program is Broken Contact.
Mm-hmm.
And it's starring the two current investigators, Casey Nolan, who started the channel,
Yep.
and Tanner McBride, who joined in season 2. So here we go.
Let's do it.
All right. So it starts out with like this kind of creepy intro where he's talking about how he'd never believed that spirits or the supernatural could be attached to a person or object.
Correct.
Right? And in Casey, he didn't start off doing supernatural investigation.
No.
He did like reviews of tech equipment.
Yeah.
Right? Stereo speakers, computers, all kinds of stuff. And he had a pretty big channel.
Yeah, he had a good hit
And
going.
then that's him right there.
That's the big guy.
By the way, we have no affiliation with Mindseed TV.
None.
Or with Casey. We've never talked to them.
It'd be cool if we could.
It would be cool. Casey, if you're watching this,
Holler at us.
we want to know more. But here's the thing. He started doing the supernatural thing because his apartment was haunted.
Yeah.
And his first video, the first supernatural video, I don't even know how I found it. But, I mean, it was creepy.
It was pretty intense for a first time.
And you could, I mean, I got the impression that he like literally grabbed his phone or his camera and started recording. And like no prep or nothing. He didn't like clean up his house or nothing.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like it was messy, but you could tell that it was, lived in.
Yeah.
And his reactions to what he found in his kitchen.
With pretty, you can't fake.
I mean, you can
I mean,
fake,
you could, but
I mean, he's not an actor.
No.
And no offense, Casey, we've watched some of your videos, your rap videos.
Yeah.
You're not an actor. And so we were drawn in because
it was real. It was coming from you.
And there are episodes where there's really nothing going on.
Mm-mm.
It's not like every time he does something, he gets like, crazy ghosts appearing and things swirling. It's very realistic.
Yeah.
So this particular episode is a small movie about something that happened to them at the end of season 2.
Yeah.
Basically, they had been contacted by Mary, who was a viewer, in an email, and she said she just gotten a home from her aunt.
Yep.
In northern Arizona, and weird stuff was going on.
Okay, we all have different definitions of weird stuff. Cup flying.
Yeah.
Door slamming.
Poltergeist activity. She mentioned that sometimes she'd look in the mirror and her face would get all distorted.
Yeah.
And she also said, by the way, in the past, and I don't think this was her aunt, I think it was before then.
Yeah.
The family of 3 that lived in that house were murdered in the house on Christmas Day.
That's right.
Yeah. So I think that's why they decided to check on this, and check it out. And again, they got a little backstory. They did a little interview with Mary and with her niece and local townspeople,
Which,
a realtor.
by the way,
Yeah.
don't call local towns if something serious like that happened. They did not take too kindly.
No, he was rude.
Yeah.
He sounded ticked off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, but these guys are like us. They're not professionals.
Mm-mm.
They're doing a passion. So, soon as they get to the location, one of the things that we noticed while we were watching it is they're never met by anyone.
Yeah. It's just
Like, ghost hunters and all that crap. They got to meet with the people first, and they just go straight into the investigation.
and there's and it's literally them too.
Just them, no one else. And as soon as they walk in the door, they turn on a device called an ovulus. Do you want to tell them what an ovulus is?
So I didn't even know what this was until this guy, and we started watching Mindseed TV. Ovulus is a little device
About the size of a cell phone.
about the size of a cell phone. In a way, it's kind of like a dictionary, but it just picks up on sounds and it picks up words. Like John Bar something, it picks out words.
And the words are supposedly influenced by whatever spirits are present, right?
Yeah.
So they turn on their ovulus right away, and they get a couple of words that don't really mean much yet.
Yeah.
Right? Grandpa is one of them, music's another.
Yeah.
Couple others. And then they go and explore the house. And it's Casey, and he didn't even mention this in the episode or in the movie, but he walks by the mirror and his face is like out of focus.
It's blurry.
But only his face.
That's the only part.
And he says, that was weird. I kind of saw something weird in the mirror. But he doesn't remember, or he doesn't mention that he remembers what Mary said. Right?
That's right. And of course, we seen it plain as day.
And then the ovulus, that's when it says grandfather.
Yeah.
So remember that word.
Key word.
Key word. Yeah, absolutely. So the only thing that really happens when they're investigating actively is there's like a hutch underneath the TV on the first floor.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got old VHS tapes in it. And one literally gets thrown across the room. They're upstairs when this happens, so they just hear it. But they come downstairs and check their static camera that they had set up in that room, and you see it. There's nobody nearby, it just like shoots.
You just launched out and said, boom.
And then, they have a couple of their ovulus hits. They try their lasers, and it's supposed to detect any motion that's not visible to the eye. They see nothing.
Which was pretty cool, though.
It was pretty cool. They even they did a spirit box a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
They did something cool where they isolated the person. So Tanner had the spirit box wired to some headphones that were noise eliminating, and then he was blindfolded. And Casey would ask questions, and Tanner would repeat what he heard.
Yeah.
So that was kind of neat. I've never seen anyone do that before. And then they hear something break, right?
Yeah.
Later that evening when they're getting settled in.
Oh, by the way, they do stay at these places.
Yeah, overnight. Almost every time.
Yeah.
They have occasionally gotten freaked out
And they leave.
and get the hell out of Dodge. But I mean, I would do the same thing.
I'll be the first to admit, I'll scream like a little girl. I'm out.
So yeah, so they go downstairs to find out. It sounded like what it was, which is like a coffee cup.
Yeah.
Shattered on the kitchen floor. And they're bending down to look at it, and neither of them notice, but the cabinet behind them, across on the other side, opens up by itself. And then glasses start shooting.
Just gone.
This is not, maybe there was a string and they pulled it to the edge. This was like thrown.
Forcefully. Just out there.
And then, and this is live. I mean, live for them.
Yeah.
It's while they're filming. They catch it not only on their own camera, but they also catch it on the static camera in the room.
Yes.
So it was pretty cool. One of the things I wanted to say too is at the beginning of this, it states it's based on true events, and they're using actual footage from their investigation.
Correct.
So this is live for them, right? And that's about all that happens there.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to them interviewing some guy that wrote an article on the Watchers in the Salton Sea.
Yeah.
I know nothing about this. I've never heard about that.
Yeah. This was a first for us.
He says that these Watchers that are kind of look like aliens, basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
And these portals to other dimensions are located all around the Salton Sea. They said, well, is there anywhere we should go in particular? And he mentions this place, and I think it's like a tourist destination. Right?
I believe it's so.
It's called the Garden of Moonlight. And the Garden of Moonlight essentially looks like two trailers, right?
Yeah.
And one trailer is all trippy and weird with strange art in it. And the other trailer is like a place you could spend the night.
Yeah.
So I guess you rent it out. And people have had, what?
Weird encounters.
Floating.
Feel like you're floating, something.
Yeah. Travel to another dimension.
It just...
Yada yada. So, it's not what they usually investigate, but they go there. And not much really happens.
Yeah.
Until Casey's doing that same thing with the spirit box where he's blindfolded. He's got the headphones on. And Tanner's actually in the other building.
Talking through a walkie-talkie.
Yeah. So he's talking to the spirit box through the walkie-talkie. It answers, and Casey keys and says the answer.
Yeah.
Well, Tanner starts hearing random noises through the radio that aren't from Casey. So he's going, Casey, Casey, and of course Casey can't hear him.
Mm-hmm.
And while this is happening, he's got a little crucifix right here.
Which we didn't notice this the first time.
No, it wasn't until we rewatched it today that we saw this. But he starts going like this. You could see the crucifix lift up.
And then drop.
Yeah.
There's no sooner than right before
Tanner walks in.
Mm-hmm.
So Tanner walks in, taps him on the shoulder. He goes, ugh. And he goes, were you poking me in the chest? And he goes, no. So they didn't even realize what had happened until they looked at the tape later.
Exactly.
So yeah, so that was kind of cool. But that was really all that happened there.
Yeah, enough to get your attention.
Yeah.
Make you think a little bit.
But then they go back to Tanner's house. And that's when, and honestly at this point, I'm thinking they just strung together a bunch of episodes.
Mm-hmm.
It was good, but it wasn't super, right?
Yeah.
But, oh my effing God. All I could say is, holy fuck.
Literally.
I could not believe what happens. Okay, so first off, Tanner tells Casey that he feels like there's something attached to him.
And it's following.
It's been following him. He doesn't think that they've just been experiencing new activity. He says it feels like the same activity for a couple months. Yeah. He's not really sure where, but he thinks it's...
Say it. Grandpa.
Jack. Grandpa Jack's house. It was one of the best episodes and shortest that we've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's basically, they're walking around the grandpa dies, gives it to his grandson. The grandson says weird things. They go to check it out. Stuff like there's a baby stroller that rolls across, and then a old-fashioned record player, and it starts up by itself.
While they're in a totally different room.
They're in a different room. And they had messed with the piano, and it starts chiming.
Which got really freaky.
Really freaky. And then they go to the dining room, and I don't even remember what triggers it, but they hear the piano, and then all of a sudden, every door in the place starts...
That's after Tanner played on the piano.
Yeah. So he hits a couple notes, and all of a sudden, everything starts going crazy.
Then cuts off.
So Tanner thinks that it started there. And the reason is they did a Ouija board. And I knew this, but I'd kind of forgotten it. When you're using a Ouija board, there's 3 rules, right? One is you're supposed to circle the board 3 times to open the connection.
Yep. 2
is you're always supposed to go and cross to goodbye to end the connection. And 3 is never take your hands off the planchette.
No.
And he did.
For a split second.
Just for a second. And they didn't end it.
Exactly.
They just stopped what they were doing because all this weird stuff was going on. So he thinks that Grandpa Jack, basically, is following him. So they decide, okay, well, Casey's there for another couple days before he goes home. They're at Tanner's place in Vegas. So let's set up some cameras. And the cameras don't really catch much, but they catch one thing. Casey goes to get a glass of water. hits the wall lights, goes to his room, and not even a minute later, not only do the lights come back on, but you hear
a click,
like someone flicked the switch.
Yeah.
Like literally.
It's
Go flick the switch.
Listen.
Listen. Yeah, like that. But the lights came on. There's nobody there. Later on, we were looking at the layout of the house when they were panning around.
Yeah.
And thought maybe Tanner's like reaching around from his bedroom. There's no wall switch by that bedroom.
At all.
And then the whole rest of the place is just a living room and a kitchen. 2 bedrooms, living room, kitchen, bathroom. And so there's nowhere else. There's no other wall switch.
Because the wall switch is directly across
at the front door.
At the front door.
From the bedrooms. So there's nobody there. They're in clear display. So they set up the cameras, and they for a second night, and this is like my what the fuck moment.
Which, by the way, you don't see this very often or next door to none on any of the ghost shows today. But if you follow things like this, baby powder.
Yeah, baby powder.
And yarn.
And here's the thing. So they sprinkle baby powder in front of every door, and then they outline it with yarn, red yarn, and that's supposed to, A, show if anything appears, and B, it's supposed to keep it in that area.
Yeah.
Now, I've never seen them do this before.
Neither have I.
So this is the only thing that made me think,
WTF?
yeah. I mean, is this like, this is not their MO.
Yeah.
So, you hear like, dun, 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 and then you see these like 3-fingered footprints.
Almost like from the Alien movies.
Right.
Not like that, but
similar. Running across the baby powder. And then Tanner's door, which is shut, bursts open.
And you hear a roar.
You hear a roar, and Tanner jumps up and goes, what the fuck? Goes running out of his room, eats shit on the baby powder.
I mean, just boom!
And Casey comes running out, and they're afraid to go in the room. You could feel it.
But the creepy thing is, looking at that bedroom with lights on, you could not see that bedroom. Nothing in it.
It was dark.
I mean...
It was like a void.
And that...
And then they turned on the hallway immediately outside the door in the hallway. And you can kind of see it, but it's still way darker than I think it should have been.
Makes 2 of us.
And you see that the footprints extend into the room. And then the really creepy part is, this is like a memory foam mattress, it looks like. You could see on his bedspread
2
more footprints on the edge of his bed. Now, here's the thing. When he jumped out of his bed, I didn't see those footprints.
Neither did I.
But when they go back in the room...
You see them.
So, either they're experts at editing with a high-end effects budget,
or...
What the fuck?
This shit literally happened.
Yeah. And we watched this over and over again. And it doesn't look like the scene cuts at any point.
No, there's no
breaks in it. You know, like when you guys watch my videos, you can tell when I edit because all of a sudden my head jerks. You know? There's none of that. None of that.
It's just straight run through.
So, obviously Tanner he's like, I'm done. I'm out. I need to end this. Casey goes, what do you want to do? Back to Grandpa Jack's. Still creepy. They don't want to be there.
Which, Tennessee, by the way.
Yeah. So they go to Tennessee. They fly to Tennessee during this outbreak, right?
Yeah, during COVID.
You get to Grandpa Jack's empty house, and then they set up the
Ouija board.
Ouija board. Thank you. Or they use a demon board.
They had that custom made.
Yeah, they did have that custom made. So one of the things they asked that when they first started, it takes them to goodbye.
Automatically.
Like, they don't want to, whatever it is, doesn't want to talk to them. So they open it again, and they ask, is this Grandpa Jack? Nope. Crazy.
What was the other question they asked? Well, all I know it says, were you at my house?
Yeah. Yes.
Boom.
And then they ask, are you evil? And before it does anything else, the chair behind Tanner, the rocking chair, starts rocking. And they're going, whatever you do, don't lift your fingers.
Yeah,
Don't lift your fingers.
freaking out.
Yeah, and then they hear moving around outside of the room, and then they've got an alarm like me,
Yeah.
and it says back door open,
Side door
open, and then like everything goes nuts.
Oh man.
The light, the stuff starts falling. A chair gets like big, looks like it gets slammed into Casey.
Yeah, it rocks him.
Then the lights go out.
Then the
Candles go
blow
out. And then you hear
You hear thuds
and a roar.
and a roar, and then
Same roar. Fade to black.
just
No explanation. Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So obviously they lived because they made the video.
Yeah.
But what the hell? And you might be listening to this thinking,
We might be too into this. We don't.
we watch a lot of these shows.
We're both pretty good at picking out what's real,
What's BS?
you know. I've watched this 8 times.
Either Casey and Tanner became really good actors, or
This is legit.
even the fact that he eats crap on the baby powder, because obviously he was asleep and didn't even remember it was there. And I mean, he hit boom.
I mean, he could.
Boom hard.
He did. Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't do that for one of these videos.
No.
Josh, throw yourself on the ground.
No.
Oh, damn. So that's it. That's all we got. We are way over time, by the way.
Ugh.
But hopefully it was worth it.
I believe so.
If you like this, please, down below, hit subscribe,
Subscribe,
comment,
like.
hit notifications. If you're on the podcast, send us a comment.
Yeah.
If you're on the Facebook page, send us a comment.
Send us a comment.
The more, and share this.
Yes, please.
We like feedback.
Feedback is important to us.
That's really the only reason we do this.
Exactly.
So anyways, until next time, it's been fun. Thank you guys.
Y'all have a good one.
We'll see you later.